The year is 2110, a time when human beings have reached heights of technology once thought impossible. Towering cities glow with advanced machines, drones patrol the skies, and weapons beyond imagination exist. Most importantly, humans have built powerful spaceships that can travel to any corner of the universe. Teams of scientists are now sent far and wide, exploring distant galaxies and unknown planets in search of new knowledge. But what no one ever expected was that out there, scattered across the endless universe, are strange places where the very laws of physics are completely different from Earth. Some galaxies bend space in odd ways, some planets warp gravity, and some even twist the flow of time itself. This story is about one such planet, hidden deep inside the Weird Sea galaxy. Months earlier, a team of 4 astronauts had been sent here aboard a research ship named Atropa. But ever since they arrived, the main base on Earth has heard nothing from them, no messages, no signals, and they never returned. It was as if they had simply vanished. Now, a detective named Cole has been sent to investigate. Cole is not only carrying out a mission, he has a personal reason too. Among the missing crew members is Dr. Stacy, his ex-wife. Though they had separated, Cole still loves her deeply. Finding her has become his silent purpose. Cole's small ship finally reaches the orbit of the mysterious planet. As he scans the area, his heart skips a beat. Floating nearby is the missing Atropa. He immediately tries to make contact through his transmitter, sending signal after signal, but receives no reply. Worry creeps into his mind. Has something terrible happened inside? Without wasting time, Cole steers his ship closer and connects an interlink pipe between the two vessels. With effort, he enters Atropa and walks through its silent corridors. What he sees shocks him. The 4 astronauts, Captain Robert, Technician Jacob, Scientist Andrew, and Dr. Stacy, are still sleeping inside their cryopods. They had never even stepped onto the planet's surface. But why? It had been months since their departure. Cole checks the ship's systems, and what he discovers is even stranger. According to the Atropa's records, time around this planet does not move forward. It flows backward. The ship's internal time is 8 months behind the time outside. That means while Earth has waited for months, for this crew, only moments seem to have passed. Cole quickly wakes the astronauts from their deep sleep. Once they recover, he explains that he has come to find them, and that months have already gone by. Captain Robert insists that according to their instruments, they are exactly on schedule. Cole tells them this is the impossible truth. Their ship is caught in a reverse time loop. As confusion spreads among the crew, a sudden violent crash shakes the ship. The crew rushes to the viewing window. What they see freezes them in shock. Another spaceship, exactly like the Atropa, has collided with them. It is not just similar, it is a perfect copy of their ship, floating right outside. The crew stares in disbelief. How could there be 2 Atropas? What kind of planet have they entered, where time itself runs backward and ships duplicate like shadows in a mirror? There was only one spaceship ever built with the name Atropa, and it had been officially given to Captain Robert. So when the crew saw another Atropa floating in front of them, it was beyond belief. After the sudden collision, their ship had suffered serious damage. Systems sparked, metal plates bent, and alarms echoed through the corridors. It became clear they could not move forward anymore. Worse still, their communication system was broken. They could still receive signals, but they could no longer send anything out. They were cut off, stranded in this strange orbit with no way to ask for help. Seeing no other choice, Cole made a plan. They needed to board the other ship, the copy of Atropa, and see who or what was inside it. Maybe they could find answers. The others agreed, though unease filled their eyes. Cole volunteered to go alone. As he prepared his astronaut suit, Stacy, his ex-wife, stopped him. She looked at him quietly for a moment before asking, "I know you came here for me, Cole, but why? We are no longer together. Why risk everything for me?" Cole hesitated but then shook his head. "This is not the time for this, Stacy. We'll talk about it when we survive this. Right now, we need answers." Without another word, Cole stepped into the airlock and began his spacewalk. The void of space surrounded him as he slowly drifted toward the duplicate ship, guided only by his tether and thrusters. He kept constant contact with the crew through his transmitter, their voices echoing in his helmet. As he entered the strange Atropa, his eyes widened. The ship inside was identical. Every corridor, every console, every panel. But unlike their ship, this one looked even more ruined from the collision. Loose wires hung like vines, pieces of equipment floated, and sparks flickered in the shadows. Then Cole noticed something chilling. On the wall, taped near the captain's chair, was a photograph. Stacy smiling, standing close beside Captain Robert. The very same photo existed on their own ship. Cole froze, staring at it. His crew, watching through his helmet camera, fell silent. How could the same picture exist in both ships? Cole pushed forward and began scanning and transmitting all data from the ship back to his crew. As he moved through the wreckage, something caught his eye. Floating just ahead of him was a body. Slowly he moved closer, only to recoil in shock. It was Jacob, but Jacob was alive, back in their ship. Then whose body was this? The dead man's face was identical to their Jacob. Cole Cole's blood ran cold. Just then, the crew warned him through the transmitter. The systems on this wrecked Atropa were unstable. It was about to explode. "Cole, get out! Now! The ship is going to blow!" Captain Roberts shouted. Cole grabbed Jacob's floating body, determined to bring it back. Struggling against the pull of the collapsing ship, he hurried back through the airlock. Behind him, explosions erupted. The vessel tore apart in a violent blast of fire and metal. By a miracle, Cole made it back, bruised but alive, carrying the corpse. Inside their ship, the crew stood in shock. Two Jacobs, one alive, one dead, lay before them. The living Jacob staggered forward, staring at his own lifeless face. His mind couldn't handle it. This is me," he whispered, trembling. He began to panic, breathing hard, losing control. Stacy quickly stepped in and gave him an anesthetic to calm him before he hurt himself. Later, when Cole regained his senses after the chaos, Stacy told him the other Atropa had been completely destroyed in the explosion. She asked the question that no one wanted to voice. If there was another Jacob, does that mean there are other versions of all of us? No one could answer. The silence was heavy, filled only with the hum of the damaged systems. Then Andrew, the scientist, called everyone into the lab. He had been analyzing the data Cole had retrieved before the explosion. His face was pale as he explained. "The ship we saw was not a random copy. It was our ship, a future version of it. The path it traveled was exactly the same as ours, through the same routes, the same signals, but it was caught in time, just like us." Everyone listened in stunned silence as Andrew continued. "Ever since we came near this planet, we've been trapped in a distorted region of space-time. It's because of the supermassive black hole nearby. Its gravity is bending time itself, twisting it into loops. That's why when Cole first found us, our ship's clock was months behind real time. Time here doesn't move forward normally. It bends. It repeats. Every 15 hours, the loop resets." The crew began to understand. The other Atropa they had just seen, the one that exploded, was simply their own ship, but from the future. Andrew's voice grew grim. "That means in 15 hours, we'll time travel backward. We'll return to the same moment, where another version of Atropa already exists. And then we'll collide, just as we saw before." The words hung in the air like a death sentence. "If that's true," Cole whispered, "then Jacob is already doomed. We found his body in that future ship, which means his death is only 15 hours away. By now, Doctor." Stacy had completely scanned the body of the future Jacob that Cole had brought from the destroyed ship. The results left everyone stunned. The scans showed that Jacob had been killed by bullets, and not just any bullets, but ones fired from Cole's very own gun. The room fell silent. Cole's face turned pale. "That's impossible," he said firmly. "All the bullets are still inside my gun. I've never fired a single shot. How could this be?" Scientist Jason stepped forward, his voice calm but heavy. "Cole, it hasn't happened yet. What the scan shows is not our past. It's the future. The Jacob lying here is proof of what will happen in the next 15 hours. When you shoot him." Cole shook his head furiously. "No, never. I would never kill Jacob. Not now. Not ever." But Captain Roberts' expression hardened. "We can't take that risk, Cole. The evidence is right in front of us. If time is repeating, then everything is bound to happen exactly as before. To protect Jacob, and all of us, we need to make sure you can't use that gun." Before Cole could argue further, the captain ordered the weapon locked away. They placed it inside a secure locker, where Cole could no longer reach it. Cole clenched his fists in anger and frustration, but deep down, he too was terrified. What if fate was stronger than his will? The discussion quickly turned to survival. Jason, the scientist, came up with an idea. "If we know this ship will explode after 15 hours, then we must leave before that happens. We can use the escape shuttles. If we launch out early, maybe we'll escape the time loop." At first it sounded hopeful, but Captain Robert reminded everyone of a harsh reality. The shuttles only have enough oxygen for a few days. Worse, they don't have the power to break free from this planet's massive gravity. We would drift helplessly until we suffocated. That's not survival. It's slow death. The crew's hope dimmed again. Their only chance was to repair the main ship and escape the planet's pull before the time loop reset. But there was another problem. Jacob, their only engineer, was unconscious after the sedative. Without him, no one else could restart the damaged systems. So they woke him up. But the moment Jacob opened his eyes and realized the truth, that he was fated to die within hours, and that Cole's gun was somehow linked to it, terror consumed him. His breathing grew wild. His hands shook. Then in sudden panic, he shoved Jason aside, attacked him, and fled down the corridor. "Jacob, wait!" Stacy shouted, but he was gone. Now chaos filled the ship. The others quickly split up to search for him, but panic was rising. Jacob was the only one who had the skills to repair the damaged engines. Without him, they were all doomed. While searching through the wreckage-strewn corridors, Cole and Captain Robert made a grim discovery. The ship's core reactor, the very heart of its power, had begun to crack apart from the earlier collision. Sparks and pressure leaks hissed in the dim light. Cole's voice was grim. "This is it. This is why the ship explodes in the future. The core is breaking down. Unless Jacob helps us repair it, this whole vessel is going to tear itself apart." The captain nodded, his jaw tight. "Then we must find him, no matter what it takes. If we don't bring him back and convince him to help us, none of us are leaving this planet alive." Jacob had hidden himself, terrified of the future he believed was waiting for him. At the same time, scientist Jason had lost all hope. With Jacob gone and the ship breaking apart, Jason became convinced they would never survive. So in desperation, he decided to save himself. Quietly, he prepared one of the escape shuttles and launched it without telling anyone. The others quickly realized what Jason had done and tried to stop him, but by then it was too late. His shuttle had already left the ship. At first, Jason thought he was free, but almost immediately the shuttle began to drift downward. The massive planet's gravity pulled it in, and no matter what Jason did, he couldn't steer away. He was trapped. Inside Atropa, the crew watched in horror through the ship's cameras. Then, as the camera zoomed closer to the planet's glowing rings, everyone's eyes went wide in shock. Jason, too, looked out of his shuttle window and froze. All around him were countless escape shuttles, millions of them circling the planet. And inside each one was Jason. Millions of versions of himself, stuck just like he was. The truth hit them hard. This wasn't their first time trapped in this loop. Their ship had been through this cycle millions of times before, always crashing, always repeating. The planet's rings weren't made of rock or ice. They were made of Jason's shuttles. Every loop he tried to escape, and every loop he failed, left to die slowly as the air ran out. Inside the ship, Cole, Stacy, and the captain were shaken. They realized the horrible truth. Countless versions of themselves had already died here, repeating the same choices, the same mistakes. The captain asked quietly, "Does this mean our deaths are already decided? That no matter what we do, we can't change it?" But Cole refused to believe it. "No, there has to be a way. Jacob is still alive, and he's the only one who can repair the ship. If we can find him and restart the engines, we might still escape this planet's gravity before the loop begins again. We have one last shuttle left too. We can't give up now." The captain checked the systems and gave them worse news. The ship's energy was running out fast. They had only a short time left. So the three of them, Cole, Stacy, and the captain, agreed on one last plan. They would split up, each searching a different part of the ship for Jacob. He was their only hope. If they didn't find him in time, none of them would survive. The captain went down one path to search for Jacob, while Cole and Stacy took another. As they moved through the dark corridors, Stacy broke the silence. "Cole, why did you really come here for me? Our relationship ended a long time ago." Her question pulled Cole back into his memories. Years ago on Earth, Stacy's brother Mason had worked with him. They were detectives, partners on missions. During that time, Cole met Stacy, fell in love with her, and soon they were married. Life seemed perfect for a while, but one mission changed everything. Cole and Mason tracked a dangerous criminal to his house. From inside, the man fired non-stop at them. Mason told Cole they should wait for backup. This criminal was too dangerous to face alone. But Cole, stubborn and overconfident, refused. He insisted they could handle it themselves. Breaking the rules, he pushed Mason to go in with him without backup. That choice cost Mason his life. During the fight, the criminal shot him dead. Cole, filled with rage, killed the criminal on the spot. But the worst part was revealed later. Drones recorded the entire scene. The footage showed that the criminal had been about to surrender when Cole shot him. Cole lost his job after that. When Stacy confronted him, he confessed the truth. Her brother had died because of his mistake. Stacy couldn't forgive him. She left Cole forever. From that day, he carried the guilt of Mason's death, blaming himself for everything. Years later, when Cole learned Stacy had joined the Atropa mission and then disappeared with the crew, he made his choice. No matter what, he would go after her. It was his chance to make up for the past. Now in the present, Cole looked at her with heavy eyes. "It was my fault Mason died. I couldn't save him, but I can save you. That's why I'm here, to fix what I destroyed." Before Stacy could answer, the ship's systems failed. The power dropped to a critical level, shutting down doors and lights. Cole suddenly found himself locked inside the medical bay. He tried to break the reinforced glass with his fists, but it wouldn't even crack. Breathing hard, Cole remembered his gun. Stacy kept my gun in her locker. I could use it to shoot the glass and get out. But then he realized the problem. The locker key was outside with Stacy. Trapped and desperate, Cole turned to the locker and began smashing at it with his bare hands, ignoring the pain. machine. His knuckles bled as he kept hitting the cold metal, fighting to break it open before time ran out. Jacob suddenly came from behind and pressed a knife to the captain's throat. Shaking with fear, he shouted that he wanted to leave immediately in the last escape shuttle. He said he already knew his future. If he stayed, Cole's gun would kill him sooner or later. The captain tried to calm him down. He explained that the future could still be changed, and that Jacob was the only one who could restart the ship and help them escape this strange galaxy. But Jacob was too scared and only thought about saving himself. He snatched the captain's security card and ran toward the shuttle. The captain quickly told Stacy through the transmitter that Jacob had stolen his card and was heading for the escape. Since Cole was still locked inside, Stacy ran alone to stop Jacob, while Cole kept trying to break free by smashing open the locker to get his gun. Stacy caught up with Jacob and tried to stop him, warning that if he escaped, he would meet the same fate as Jason and die in orbit, while the rest of them perished with the ship. But Jacob panicked, said he only wanted to survive, and reminded her that they had all seen his dead body killed by Cole's gun. By then, the captain arrived to help Stacy. At the same moment, Cole finally managed to get his gun from the locker and started firing at the glass to break out. The echo of the gunshots rang through the ship. Hearing the shots, Jacob panicked even more, convinced that Cole was about to kill him. In his fear, he lashed out and accidentally stabbed the captain. The captain collapsed, dead. Jacob froze in shock, then broke down crying, realizing what he had done. Stacy screamed, and Cole came running. When he saw the captain's body, his heart sank. Overcome with rage, Stacy grabbed Cole's gun, pointed it at Jacob, and shouted that if he wasn't meant to die by Cole's hand, then she would kill him herself. She pulled the trigger halfway, ready to fire, but Cole stopped her, yelling, "No! If Jacob dies, we'll only repeat the same cycle again. Every time he dies, none of us survive. This time must be different. Jacob is the only one who can fix the ship. He's our only chance to break this loop and escape forever." At last, Stacy lowered the gun, finally listening to Cole's desperate words. Her hands trembled, but she trusted him. Cole told her that they still had time to change everything, because very soon this ship would once again slip back 15 hours into the past, returning to the moment when it would collide with its other version. Jacob, shaken and ashamed, spoke up. He admitted that his fear of dying had made him reckless, and because of that, the captain had lost his life. Tears welled in his eyes as he apologized. "I was too scared, but I don't want to run anymore. I'll do everything I can to fix this ship and help us escape." With no time to waste, the three of them sprinted down the broken corridors until they reached the engine room. Sparks showered the dark chamber as Jacob began working frantically, forcing systems online one by one. The panels flickered weakly, the last breath of a dying machine. Meanwhile, Cole stood outside the engine bay, staring at the shaking walls of the ship. His mind was full of doubt. How do we break this loop? Soon another version of me will be here, searching for the Atropa. Even if we escape, that means there will be two of me in the same universe. Two versions of the same man cannot exist in one timeline. It's a paradox. If we don't solve this, we'll only make things worse. Just then, Jacob called out from the consoles. "Cole, even if we wanted to fly out of here, we can't. The ship's power is almost gone after the collision. It doesn't even have the strength to leave this orbit. Whatever little movement is left will have to be operated by hand, and only I can do it." Suddenly, a deep vibration shook the vessel. The countdown of the universe had ended. The 15 hours were over. The ship groaned as if it were alive, its metal body twisting as space itself bent around it. And then, in an instant, they were dragged backward in time. They realized it when Cole's radio crackled to life. Static filled the air, and then his own voice echoed through it, his past self, sending out desperate messages as he first discovered the Atropa. "This is Detective Cole. I've found the ship. Do you copy?" The messages repeated again and again. Now the truth was clear. The reason no one had ever replied to him before was simple. The transmitter on this ship had already been broken. His cries for help had been lost in the void from the very beginning. But then an idea struck Cole like lightning. He turned to Stacy and Jacob. "What if we don't stay with this ship at all? What if we use the last escape pod to reach my past self? My own ship will still be intact, untouched by the collision. We can use it to finally escape this galaxy." For a moment, hope flickered in Stacy's eyes, but Jacob shook his head. His voice was calm now, almost peaceful. "No, someone has to keep this ship stable. If I leave, it will collapse into chaos, and the loop will never end. I've been running from death since the beginning. I was terrified of it, but maybe this is the only way to stop the cycle. I don't want countless other versions of me to keep dying in these loops forever. It has to end here. With me, Cole and Stacy looked at him, hearts heavy, but they knew he was right. Jacob had chosen the very death he feared, but he chose it as a sacrifice for them and for the universe. With time running out, Cole grabbed Stacy's hand, and the two of them rushed through the trembling corridors toward the last escape pod. The alarms screamed, red lights flashing as the ship cracked further under the strain of time's pull. At the pod, Cole quickly strapped Stacy into the seat. She looked at him with wide, fearful eyes. "Cole, what about you?" He touched her shoulder, his voice steady, though his heart ached. "You have to go, Stacy. You're the one who has to live. If anyone deserves another chance, it's you." Stacy looked at Cole, her voice trembling. "If you stay here, you'll be killed." Cole gave her a heavy, steady look. "I know, but it has to be this way. For the universe, for the timeline. If I go with you, there will be two versions of me in the same world. That paradox would destroy everything. So one of us has to stay behind, and that has to be me. You will find another version of me, the past Cole, waiting outside. You can leave with him, and together you can return to Earth. That's the only way this can end." Stacy's eyes filled with tears as she realized the truth. She wanted to argue, to fight it, but deep down she understood. With a breaking heart, she whispered goodbye. Slowly, she stepped into the escape pod, sealing herself away, knowing she would never see this version of Cole again. As the pod prepared for launch, Cole ran back to Jacob in the engine room. The ship was shaking violently now, the alarms screaming louder with each passing second. He placed his hand on Jacob's shoulder. "There's only one way to end this loop forever," Cole said firmly. "We both have to sacrifice ourselves. If we let the ship collide again and then detonate it, both versions of Atropa will be destroyed. Every repeating copy of us will die, and Stacy will finally escape with my past self." Jacob, no longer trembling, nodded. He had carried the fear of death from the beginning, but now he accepted it. "Millions of my other selves have already died in this endless loop. If this is what it takes to end it once and for all, then I'm ready. Let this be the last time their plan was set." When the two Atropa ships collided again in the repeating timeline, Cole and Jacob triggered the detonation. A massive explosion tore through space, brighter than a dying star. Both ships were annihilated instantly, and with them, every looping version of their crew. From a distance, Stacy's escape pod drifted safely away. Inside, her heart broke as she watched the explosion tear the universe apart behind her. But soon she was found by the past version of Cole, the Cole who had first arrived at the planet searching for the missing crew. She told him everything, and together, the two of them left in his untouched ship, finally escaping the cursed galaxy and returning toward Earth. The loop was over. No more copies, no more endless deaths. The Atropa would never time travel again. It had taken sacrifice, Cole giving his life and Jacob facing the death he had always feared, to set Stacy free. In the end, Stacy was the sole survivor of the Atropa crew, carrying the memories of everything that had happened. And beside her was the past version of Cole, who now had a second chance at life, though he would never be the same. And that is where this incredible story ends. The time loop is broken, the galaxy silent once more, and Stacy returns home at last. So how did you like this entire series? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to experience more stories like this, make sure to check out the other videos appearing on your screen. Thank you for watching.